The bout number 501, men's light heavyweight, 81 kilograms.
Second quarter-final in the men's light heavy division, 81 kilos. Damien Hooper in the red corner for Australia goes up against the Cuban boxer, Julio La Cruz. Well, two young, very talented and promising young fighters. But Damien Hooper, at just 19 years of age, is in the top 10 seeded boxers here. As for Cruz, first time we've seen him in international amateur competition on this side of the world. The winner of the Panama Games qualifier. Let's take a look at the stats here. Fourth ranked boxer in this competition, Damien Hooper. Coached by Mark Wilson, Craig Woods out of Queensland. 183 centimetres. Now the 22-year-old Cuban. Amateur International Boxing Association world rank 14. But 2011 has been a promising year for this young Cuban. He's starting to make a breakthrough. As we said earlier, taking top position in the Pan American qualifying event and also the Cuban National Championships at this weight. René Just of Slovakia is the referee for this second quarter-final in the light heavyweight division. Now, only a year ago, this talented young Australian boxer in the red was collecting World Championship medals here in Baku in Azerbaijan, but as a junior boxer. And as a senior boxer in 2011, he's already taken the Australian national title, as has his opponent, La Cruz from Cuba. So an interesting bout here. 120 bouts, just 15 defeats for the teenage Aussie. Good support for the Australian in the crowd. And both boxers just sizing each other up throughout the first minute of this opening round. Just a quick reminder, three-minute rounds in international, amateur and Olympic boxing. The winner of this quarter-final will go forward to meet Igor Nekontsev, who we've just watched have a real war with the Ukrainian in his quarter-final, but successfully going forwards to the semis. Not sure whether it's a benefit or it's a hindrance for the Cuban boxers when they come to these World Championships, having to live up to their reputation. First of all, have been the most winningest nation for World Championship medals. First ever amateur international boxing World Championships were held in Cuba back in 1974 in Havana. But for these young up-and-coming stars of the Cuban squad, do they take comfort from the fact that Felix Savon won 6 World Championship gold medals, or Teofilo Stevenson won 3, Angel Herrera also won 3? Or do they feel that that puts more pressure on them and a greater expectation? Evenly matched first round anyway. Both boxers just keeping it calm. Now they're looking to speed things up a bit and get on with the boxing. Maybe a little bit too late. 2 good strikes there from La Cruz. Nice bit of good work with the infighting, but we've come to the end of the first round. And the Australian, with those careful shots, takes a 2-point lead over the Cuban and leads 4-2. And I'm not sure whether Damien Hooper wants to change this tactic and game plan for this fight, because in those last 10 seconds when they started getting in a lot closer and a lot more infighting, La Cruz seemed to become a lot more accurate, or certainly picked up his 2 scores in the last 10 seconds of that opening round. There's the confirmation. Hooper for Australia in the red corner, scoring 4. La Cruz for Cuba in the blue, just with 2. Second round. Will the Cuban change his tactical plan here? This will be interesting to see. Again, the Australian fans very excited about the prospect of this 19-year-old. There's another good jab from the Aussie. Well, I think both boxers frustrating each other. Now, Cuban looks to have decided it's time to take this fight to Hooper. Hooper's earlier tactic, standing off, just jabbing away, picking up the points, has been effective for the Australian in the red, and is frustrating the Cuban. Oh, great 1-2 there from the Australian, and that is a good punch and a very important score. Past the halfway point in the second round, and again, this is exactly how Hooper played it out in the first. It's a repeat performance in the second, and he's keeping this Cuban at bay. Again in a almost identical time and fashion. Julio La Cruz from Cuba. In the last few seconds, well, 40 to be precise, of the second round, now starts to change it up a gear. And he needs to, because the scoring has come from the Australian until now. "20 seconds. There's the end of the second round. And the Cuban takes that 6-4, which ties and levels the score at 8-8 going into the third round. Still anybody's quarterfinal for the taking. Much better work from the Cuban. It's almost as if he heard the corner say, "Come on, Julio. Unless you change the tactical plan here, unless you change the way that you start attacking your opponent, you're just going to get out-jabbed throughout the whole of the second round," and it's paid dividends. So the second round goes to the Cuban by just 2 points, and added together with the scores from the first, they're all both tied at 8 apiece. Third and final round, men's quarter-final of the light heavy division. And the Cuban starts the better of the two in the third. And there again, a good combination from Cruz. No pulling down on the back of the neck and head. Well, on the canvas for a push, not a blow. Boxers again very closely matched, these two. Contrast of styles. Oh, good 1-2 from the Australian, and he needs a few more of those, and he'll be heading into the semi-final. Good uppercut from Hooper. Cruz and Hooper claiming that that was a low blow. Count for Cruz, for Hooper I should say. Now, low blow, oh, and it's 2 points that's added to the score of Hooper. And that infringement from the Cuban could mean the end. He's given Hooper 2 points for that low blow. And that certainly starts to turn this third and final round to the Aussies' advantage, and the Cuban knows it. He's determined to get on with this. And look at this now. This is turning out 45 seconds. And the Aussie has got a little left as well. Not the most technical or stylish of boxing, but there's a sense of urgency out there for both of these boxers. And perhaps La Cruz more so than ever, giving away those 2 points to the Australian for the low blow. Damien Hooper trying everything that he can to try and put a few more points on the board. 13 seconds. Just needs to keep out of trouble now, Hooper. And he may have just scraped through. Well, both boxers feel that they have done enough to take it. I had them very closely matched. Australia or Cuba, red or blue, and he's still done enough. Oh, by 1 point, 14 to 13. Julio La Cruz from Cuba goes through to the semi-finals, beating Damien Hooper by 14 to 13, even with that one warning. And he will go up against Igor Mikontsev, the defending champion, in the semi-final here in Baku, Azerbaijan, on Friday. It is the Cuban, Julio La Cruz, that wins the second quarter-final in the men's light heavy division.
Referee.